Welcome back, guys, to the second episode of the FranTastic Review. I'm your host, Melo15. With me tonight, I got my co-host. I got JL behind the camera and the mic. Usually on the podcast, we call him the disembodied voice, but today, he's my disembodied brother voice. But yeah, the intro song, guys, was the Addams Family theme song. If you don't know, now you know. So for this FranTastic Review, so the first FranTastic Review I ever did was for the Halloween movie. This one, I'm going to do 2 in 1, bro. We're going to hit the show Wednesday on Netflix, and we're going to hit the new Pinocchio movie on Netflix in this episode. So if you guys have not seen Pinocchio or Wednesday, come back to this video, watch it when you have. I will actually timestamp this, so if you've seen one or not the other, you can go to each review, and I hope you guys enjoy it. So we're actually going to start off with Wednesday first. So Wednesday is a show that's on Netflix with Jenna Ortega, which I covered a little bit of it last week. I didn't actually cover the show. I covered some of the controversy surrounding the show, but we're actually going to talk about the show. I keep saying this, but Justin, watch the show. It's good. All right. I didn't know what to expect from it. And the funny thing is, I've seen the Addams Family, but I didn't remember it because after I watched Wednesday, I went back and watched the original 2 movies. They're good. I love them, bro. The Addams Family movies are really good, actually. So I watched Wednesday. Jenna Ortega kills it, bro. And let's just get right to the point. She embodies Wednesday. Like, you know how we said like Henry Cavill is Superman? Bro, Jenna Ortega might just be Wednesday now. Right? Because Christina Ricci killed it in the original 2 movies, right? But Jenna Ortega, to me, takes it to like a whole different level, bro. Which, speaking of Christina Ricci, she's actually in the show. They actually make Christina Ricci a character in the show. She ends up actually being the villain of the show, which was like, and this is what I'm telling you, right? Like, think about, remember we talked about the Degrassi reboot, and I was saying like, hey, how do you get the older fans engaged while engaging new fans? Having Christina Ricci in the show was a perfect way to get like the old fans of the Addams Family to watch while trying to get like a new crowd in. Come on, bro. She's the original Wednesday, bro. I mean, like, that's perfect. You put her in the show. You pay respect to the original Wednesday. That was brilliant to me. So the show's about her. She gets in trouble out of school. People are like, bullying her brother. So she drops piranhas into the swim team's practice pool. She has to end up going to a different school because of it. She ends up going to a school called Nevermore. It's a school called Nevermore, which her mom attended that school, which I thought it was cool. Nice little tie-in. And her mom actually, so Catherine Zeta-Jones plays Morticia. I didn't think I was going to like that. That's actually one of the castings that I did like about the show. I didn't think I was really going to like her in that role, but I did. It was actually I liked it. Catherine Zeta-Jones as Morticia. The ones that I didn't like, though, were Uncle Fester. And Christopher Lloyd is still alive, right? So I feel like you could have just had Christopher Lloyd reprise his role as Uncle Fester, but the new Uncle Fester just seemed like I don't think any Uncle Fester after Christopher Lloyd's has been able to recapture Uncle Fester. Like the one in the Wednesday show, he had like a really like high-pitched voice and like had thunder on his fingers, and I don't know. And the thunder wasn't my problem. It was like his really high-pitched voice, and like it just wasn't like Uncle Fester to me, right? Because Uncle Fester in the Christopher Lloyd version, he's like really quirky and like, like, he was like trying to marry the blonde lady and stuff. So, and I felt like they didn't capture that. But other than that, she goes to the school Nevermore. She's a problem, bro. Like Wednesday Addams is like a problem, right? She's like really smart, right? So not only is she really smart, like her attitude's really dark, which it's Emily, bro. Like that's why, you know what I mean? So like I told Emily, I'm like, dude, that was you when I first met you. Like you were fucking Wednesday Addams, bro. Like, there's like dark, really smart, really like smart mouthy, like really defiant against like authority and stuff like that. The cool part is Gwendolyn Christie plays the principal at Nevermore. You know who she plays Captain Phasma in Star Wars. You wouldn't know because you don't watch Game of Thrones, but she also plays Brienne Tarth, which watch Game of Thrones, Justin, please. But yeah, she ends up going to Nevermore. She has a roommate named Enid. There's like werewolves and like, there's like sirens in the show. I thought it was cool. The town doesn't really like mess with people from Nevermore. So there's kind of like this like tension between like the outcast and like the people of the town. But then people start dying, bro. So because like people start getting killed and there's a monster. Well, the monster is called a Hyde. Like Jekyll and Hyde, and the Hyde starts killing people, and she has to solve who's doing it, right? So everything leading up into the beginning to like how they the twist of the show is cool. Like I told Emily, I'm like, hey, watch it be that guy. Watch it be the sheriff's son, bro. I was like, watch the sheriff's son be the fucking Hyde. And when they got the other kid in trouble, the one who was doing the paintings of the monster, I was like, I didn't think he was the monster, but yeah, okay, that makes a little bit of sense. And then I was like, nah, bro, it's still the fucking sheriff's son. Because when she's about to leave, like the police station, his son's like, hey, let me talk to Wednesday. I got to tell her something. The sheriff's like, okay, just make it quick. And he goes up to Wednesday and he's like, yeah, how does it feel? She goes, what? He's like, how does it feel to lose? And like he stares at her and like he starts getting a grin. And I was like, oh, you motherfucker, dude. You're the fucking Hyde, dude. I knew it, dude. There's actually another part in the show where like they arrest her dad for like a murder that he did back in the day at like a dance at that school. You come to find out that like Morticia is actually the one that stabbed the guy, but it was because he was like threatening them and like trying to kill them and stuff. The actor who they got to play Wednesday's dad, bro, I love him, dude. I absolutely love him. I thought that was a good casting. It's really different from the movie's dad, but hey, dude, he's a good actor in my opinion. Like he plays good comedy roles. I think for The Thing too, The Thing actually looked pretty good in the show. Like obviously The Thing in the original movies, like the CGI was kind of bad, but hey, it's the 90s, whatever. It's not going to be perfect. But in the show, and I was making hella dirty jokes, son. I was making so many dirty jokes about like, hey, Thing, hey, come wash my balls. Hey, Thing, come play with my puss. Like, it's like, because he's like a hand, You're telling me he's not getting his hands dirty.
Hey, Thing, yeah.
Hey, Thing, come play bowling ball with my behind. You know what I mean? Like, the Thing's probably seen some things, bro. Hey, what do you know? When you're like a budding fucking superstar kid. Hey, Thing. Hey, come wash my back. You know what I mean? Like, Thing's probably been forced to do a lot of fucking crazy things, dude. But. And I kept making jokes like that to Emily, like, hey, Thing, come out from under your pillow and come please your boss. Like, hey, boss. But yeah, the show is good. I didn't go into it with any expectations. That might be a problem for some people. You might like really, really like the 90s movies and you might go into it with like super high expectations. And for me, I didn't go into it with any expectations. I kind of vaguely remember their movies, but I went into it with an open mind. I loved it. It had a good plot, good episodes. It's 8 episodes. They're about an hour each. The ending was good. There's probably going to be a second season. It ended in a way where like it left it open for that. Jenna Ortega kills it. This is like her breakout role in my opinion. She kills it as Wednesday Addams. Tim Burton did a good job directing it. Or, he made the show. I think each episode might have had a different director, but like Tim Burton like kind of orchestrated this. One of my favorite parts though about Wednesday was, yes, she's like really mean. Yes, she's like really cruel to like her friends and family. And like she has like this like really like emo like darkness to her. But I think what she doesn't understand is that attracts people to you more. Like when you're like the mean one who doesn't talk and you don't really show affection and you're like really like standoffish to people and like you're really rude, that like draws people to you more. Like I told Emily this before, but at school there's someone like emo kids or like they're emo because like they don't want to like the popular, there's no like I don't want to hang out with the popular kids and I don't like attention and don't talk to me and don't look at me, but like they end up dressing and acting in ways that get you more attention. No, you want attention, you just don't think you do. And that Wednesday kind of gives it off. And I like at the end how she's able to like form friendships, even though like it goes against her code of like wanting to be by herself. And she's still not like fully like bubbly and stuff, but you could tell like at the end, she did somewhat appreciate some of the friendships she made at Nevermore. Right. And like I said, bro, you've met those people, right? Like they're anti-popular kid, they're anti-establishment. Yeah. They're anti-cool, but like they dress in like ways where like it's all black makeup, black fingernails, big spiky black hair, but I don't want attention.
The dude with like 40 chains on his pants is like, don't look at me.
Yeah, he's like, I'm not like, I don't want the world to look, but you're dressed in a way where they're gonna look.
You're wearing fishnets.
Yeah, your hair is 5 feet long. You know, like, you look like Rob Zombie. So, yeah, that's what I liked about the show is like, Wednesday's character growth didn't go against her character, but she still appreciated people in the end. If you guys haven't seen it, it's on Netflix. It's a fantastic show. I suggest you watch it. And another thing that's on Netflix that I'm going to review is Pinocchio. Guillermo del Toro, he came out with the Pinocchio movie. And of course, bro, it kind of reminded me of like Wallace and Gromit and the way they made it. And of course, bro, it's Guillermo del Toro, dude. He's going to make a kind of a darker toned Pinocchio. And his Pinocchio was really dark. It was gritty. But there was still like that magic element of it that I really loved. You know what I mean? It wasn't like, really like, in the end, Geppetto dies, Pinocchio dies, and everybody lives. It's like, it's like there's still the magic element. Ewan McGregor plays Jiminy Cricket. I didn't have a problem with it. I thought he was good in the role. Pinocchio reminded me of my brother. So I have a brother named William, right? And my hero, bro, Pinocchio in this movie was William. It just said ADHD, like doesn't listen, touches everything. Really like, oh, look at this. Oh, look at this. Oh, what? Like this, like Pinocchio is such. If you want to talk about something real quick, they drove home that Pinocchio is an annoying fuck, bro. They really drove this home. Think about the most annoying kid times 10. They like, bro, I'm talking when he's in public, he doesn't listen to his dad. His dad said, nope, stay home. I'm going to church, right? Pinocchio sneaks into the church and doesn't listen to anything, bro. Like, they really drove home that this kid is just something's wrong, right? But obviously he's wood, right? Pause. But they really drive this home, and I really liked that about it because like Pinocchio, one of the
Oh shit!
okay.
You said that like no hesitation too, bro. Just one fluid motion.
I'm seasoned, bro. I'm seasoned, bro. So oh shit! Sorry, friend. I'm not editing that either. But in the original movie, he makes Pinocchio, and I think this movie really drove home why he made Pinocchio.
I don't know why that's so funny to me, bro.
I can't breathe, bro.
Oh,
Holy shit. I'm trying to like, have a straight face. I'm like, Pinocchio's origin. I'm so here ballooning up. In the cartoon, Geppetto makes Pinocchio, right? And like I think this movie drove home like why. Like, he had a son named Carlo, right? His son was, died in a bombing of the church. The church gets bombed. And he loses his son. He plants the pine cone that his son found in his grave. The tree sprouts up, right? That's where you get Pinocchio. That's the wood in the tree that he uses to create Pinocchio. So that was really sad, bro. Like Geppetto crying at his son's grave for like years and years and becoming like an alcoholic and like just crying and like wanting his son. Like that was good. Like they really drove that home, bro. Like I'm like, damn, bro. Because the loss of a kid, Justin, bro, I would probably think that's probably the worst pain a human can go through. If we're gonna, I would love to debate that in like a future episode. But losing a kid would probably be one of the worst things you can experience ever. And like I felt Geppetto's pain, bro. I was like, damn, man. Like he really loved that boy, like that was his son. So when he makes Pinocchio, it wasn't the blue fairy. It was like a different creature. It was like a wood. Like the woods had like this like spirit. It was like a blue lion lady / like angel looking thing. She wants to see Geppetto happy, right? So he creates Pinocchio out of the tree, right? Boom, she makes Pinocchio alive. And I don't think that spirit actually kind of realized what she did, because imagine Pinocchio just running around us in like a town. She had to have known people weren't going to like that. And that Italian little small town they're in, where everybody's like, oh, a freaking devil. It's a freaking, like, everybody's like, oh, it's a ghost, a demon. Like, what do you think of wooden boys and everything? It's not going to bring joy and happiness. Everybody's going to be like, oh, it's the devil. Like, so, like, obviously, like, that was going to be a thing, right? But one of the freakiest fucking parts of this movie, bro, and by the way, kids, I was on some devil's lettuce when I watched it, so don't do it at home, right? I mean, well, if you do it at home, do it with responsible people, right? But during this part, he's in the afterlife, right? Because he dies. Pinocchio dies in this movie, like, multiple times. The first time he dies, like, so he dies and he goes into the afterlife, and this thing's explaining to him what the afterlife is. Hey, you don't really die. You do die, but you don't, and you'll come back here. We'll reflect on your life. We'll talk for a little bit, and when this hourglass runs out, you will move on, and you'll go back, and you will do that for eternity. And like during that scene when she's explaining to him that was crazy to me, bro. Like, I was sitting there like, bro, what if that's what life really is? What if, like, you die, but you don't really die? Wherever you go after this, you go and, reflect on what happened and you get sent back. Bro, and I was like, that's life. I was like, Pinocchio is killing him now. Like, you're trying to tell us something, right? Obviously, he goes and he does, like, the, the dancing and, like, the play stuff. And the guy's using him for his skills. And they kind of mix Stromboli with like the cat character and kind of mix it into one. I like that. There's like this guy who's like he works in like their version of their military, and he's like, oh, you'll be a soldier who never dies. We should put you in war. And it kind of really drives home like the father aspect too, because that guy has a kid who he puts his son through like the military training. And it's like, you have like the good father, the bad, like this father's trying to force his son to go into war, and Geppetto's trying to like save his son. The monster whale in this movie, I don't know if it was a whale, but it was some type of sea creature. That was cool. Thought it looked good. For like being like stop motion type of a movie, like that, the water scenes looked really good. But like towards the end, bro, and before, I was fucking bawling, bro. I was fucking bawling, dog. So at the end, right? So Pinocchio dies during like he gets swallowed by the whale, right? He's talking to the blue spirit, and she's telling him like, he goes, hey, send me back now, Geppetto's gonna die if I don't go. And she goes, hey, I can't, the hourglass isn't done. And he's like, no, I don't care, I need to save Geppetto. And she's like, okay, well, if I send you back before this is done, you will become mortal again. So the next time you die, it's for real. There is no redos, there's nothing, you will really die. And he goes, I don't care, I want to save Geppetto. Right? So she sends him back. He goes back, but when he comes back to send, he has one arm, bro. He's in the fucking water with one arm. So he swims over to Geppetto and he tries to save Geppetto, and they're sinking into the water. And he's like trying to stay afloat with one arm, and like they're sinking. And as they're sinking, I'm like, bro, are you fucking kidding me right now? This is how this ends? Like as they're sinking, but he fucking flaps fast enough to get to the top. He's saving Geppetto, right? So they get to the water, right? And earlier in the movie, the guy who's Stromboli and the cat character, he had a monkey that was working for him, right? And the monkey ends up going with Pinocchio, right? He ends up becoming like Pinocchio's friend. The monkey is saved. Jiminy Cricket is alive, and Geppetto's alive on the shore, right? But they look over and Pinocchio's not moving. Pinocchio's not fucking moving, and they go over and like, Pinocchio, wake up, and Pinocchio's dead. Pinocchio died. And I'm sitting there like, bro, are you fucking, that's his lesson? Like the ultimate lesson you learn. Are you willing to risk everything for your family? Are you willing to risk everything for your loved ones? When people say they'll die for you? This kid really died for his dad, bro. So he's on the shore. The blue spirit comes from, is behind Geppetto. And early in the movie, the blue spirit tells Jiminy Cricket, if you help Pinocchio, you teach him how to be a good boy, I will give you a free wish. I will give you a free wish. And Jiminy Cricket goes, hey, you told me that if I helped Pinocchio become a good boy, you would give me a free wish, and I'm gonna use my wish right now. I want you to bring him back to life. And the spirit's like, like, oh, you're right. I did tell you that because real boys don't get brought back to life, right? And in the real world, if you die, you're dead. She brings Pinocchio back to life, and basically the rest of the movie, because Geppetto's kind of old at this point, basically the rest of the movie is showing you like what happens after. Like, Pinocchio spends the rest of his days with Geppetto, the monkey, and Jiminy Cricket, right? And it shows, I think Geppetto's the first one to die. So it shows, he's laying in a bed, he's old, and like him and Pinocchio are sharing like that, that moment together, and then it shows Geppetto disappear. And then I think it said like 1 year Pinocchio found Jiminy Cricket dead by the window. There's like a window seal. Jiminy Cricket just didn't wake up. And then it shows Pinocchio and the monkey. He's like old. The monkey's old with a cane. And they're like walking up this hill and there's graves. And then the monkey disappears. And Pinocchio's like going to the graves of Geppetto, the monkey, and Jiminy Cricket, right? And he's like setting like, stuff down to like pay respects for them. And Jiminy Cricket's talking. He's like narrating this part. And Jiminy's like, I want to say that, Pinocchio went and saw the world and traveled and that people like really loved him, and that one day he will die, but who knows when. And like it just shows Pinocchio going off and like, exploring and like just being free into the world. And that's how the movie ends. And like I was fucking bawling, bro. I was like, dude, what the fuck? Like, cause like they had like the 3 graves and like, everything. So I was like, damn, bro, like that's and Emily's like, oh, what's wrong? I'm like, bro, like what the fuck, dude? Like when you watch movies like that, you're like, damn, but I'm not trying to fucking sit here and bawl, dude. Like right now I'm sitting there like thinking about like, damn, bro, like he had like the three like the tombstones, and it was like, dude, what the fuck? But yeah, so that was a beautiful fucking movie. If you guys haven't seen it, I actually put it up as my second before the original. So I would say the original because obviously the original is what made all of us love Pinocchio. But you got the original, then the second one, hands down in my opinion. Like if you watch the one with Tom Hanks in it, that one wasn't really that good, bro. The Tom Hanks Pinocchio, like this one was like gritty, but it still had enough magic and like value. Like the lesson is what matters, bro. The end of this movie had like a good lesson. So, but yeah, that is the FranTastic review, episode 2. And yeah, thank you guys for joining me. Hopefully the next FranTastic review is just as great as this one. And yeah, until next time, peace.